So today we're going to be looking at the Grassroots greats. We've got the heroes, we've got the icons, and the normal players as well. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. We did get a fantastic Evo yesterday with the Maradona that can go up to 92 if you are willing to do the paid Evo, which, I mean, I get, I totally get that they've given you an 89 for free and then paid a little bit more. 500k is a little bit steep. They're clearly pointing you in the direction of the points more so than anything, and then trying to take out any more coins if they possibly can. So in general, that is a nice one. I do like that they've given him a 92 regardless. We did get strategic shift as well, which if you check out the channel, we've got the best choices for that also. But in terms of players, there's been a fair few. Now, I believe this is only 1 week, just judging on the fact that the next week's completionist guide will give us a fantasy player. So I'm assuming we only get 1 week to this, which is a little bit disappointing because we've only got 4 heroes. I'm assuming we get a little mini release, but whether it's going to add many of them, I don't know. I just think they could have gone a little bit more crazy with these, especially seeing as though we have had a lot of icons recently. But we have had Hamshik, we've had another Yap Stam, we've had Abide Pele, and also Cahill as well. The one thing everybody's looking at is with the Yap Stam, if you used him as your Team of the Year Evo star, it is incredible of what card they actually gave us for that centre back. It's pretty much just as good, let alone this is a free mill card in itself. Now, I think this is quite an easy category to go with, to be honest. I don't think there's much kind of differences here. Yapstam and Hamshik are definitely top meta in themselves. Abide Pele, very, very usable. And Tim Cahill, I'm never that much of a fan, but I think with the upgrade of the double, aerial and press proven, he's got the 4-4. He's usable. I don't think there's many kind of strikers that you'd kind of go that he's any worse than that. I just don't think you'd go very usable for him. And when it comes to the icons, we've had a couple as well. And granted, I expect some of the heroes to be in SBCs. We did get Stoichkov and Conte as the first 2 SBCs. But we've got Ian Wright at 3.3. We've got Drogba at 2.8. 15 mil for the 96 Maradona, a mil for Baggio, 3.6 for Ribery, 700 for Foudy, and 80k for Keane, bless him. He just never catches a break. 1 year, I would absolutely love to see like a 12 mil Keane, whatever card that is going to be. It would be interesting to see him above the 500k mark in the 24-hour span as such. Then, so really, the big question is Ian Wright actually that good? And they have done monstrously well with this card. His ability, just in general, is fantastic. They've given him a great overhaul of stats. 6 on the pace and shooting, 8 on the physicality, 9 on the dribbling, and 11 passing, but then also giving him the quick step, which everybody loves. Yes, he got the press proven rather than the finesse, which is kind of one of them, but in general, it's a beautiful card. The composure's massive. Great agility balance on him. This is a very, very good striker if you've seen one. Now we know the likes of Drogba is always going to be up there, but by any stretch, Drogba is incredible in this game. Now, you've always got to ask your questions, where do these rank in comparison to the real top meta strikers, your Team of the Years, your top end Ronaldos, your top end Mbappes, R9s, Cruyffs, Peles. And to be honest, I must admit, these two probably come as close as they're ever going to be at this point. Now, granted, in like the next promo, the promo after, they are going to slowly lose their value. And it's only been 24 hours, if that. So they're going to have quite a big price to start with. Ian Wright came in at a whopping, it's not going to give me the hourly. He came in at 4.4, dropped down to 2.8, and then he's gone back up to 3.7. The problem is realistically, is he packable? That's going to be the big question. When you look at someone like Ian Wright, I think he's a fantastic card, but there is a lot of strikers out there. Even if you just have a look at the strikers, go over to the positioning, and if you go by price, if we turn it back around again, you obviously see the top end, the Mbappe, the R9s, the Vinis. But if we go down to his price pool, when we're looking at just, what, 500k more, and you're getting a Pele, you've obviously got the future star Eto'o up there, you've got Eusebio Team of the Year. Is he really in the company of them? And I think he's close. He's definitely close. But I don't know if I'd quite say he's absolutely up there. I'd say he's kind of in more of that very usable, in my opinion. Drogba, again, is probably the same, but he's got the ability of just being an absolute monster. If you've used his base card before, you know exactly what we're on about. He kind of came down in price now quite a considerable amount for his base card. But this card is just as good. But I still would personally choose the Eusebios, the R9s, the obvious Peles and Mbappes. They are going to be in his position just a little bit better, in my opinion. And that's kind of where the list is. With Yapstam, he's definitely in amongst that top 5, top 10 centre-backs. I think Hamsik as well. The only thing that's letting him down and putting him lower in that list for me is going to be not having that incisive. I absolutely need it when it's playing in a cam role. Whereas the strikers, there's just so many. Like literally the first page, you don't even get down to 91, let alone the multiple Mbappes, the multiple Vinis, the multiple Hams. There's so many to offer. It is absolutely nuts. But if we look at the rest of them, obviously we have got the likes of Ribéry with a lovely upgrade. Now, they're giving him quick step and technical. It's nice, and I think as a winger goes, he's got to be up there in the best of them, to be honest. I think we're kind of lacking in the absolute top meta of left wing, so he is going to be up there, really. We've got the likes of Ronaldinho waiting for an upgrade. Vinny's going to be there without a shadow of an imagination, to be honest. We then have Maradona. I think they've absolutely smashed this card. If they gave him incisive rather than the technical, which would have been practically the Evo, that would have been incredible in itself. But the stats on him is just unbelievable. Very, very good card. If you've used Maradona in previous years, he's exactly the same. He's so quick on the ball. The dribbling's fantastic. He's just incredible. He's kind of that Messi-esque sort of player, being, what, 5? How tall was he? I've looked at this before. It's not going to tell me here, is it? I'm pretty sure he was like 5'6" or something like that. I don't think he was taller than 5'7". Watch him be like 5'9" now. But he was a smaller-esque build, which really helps with the ability on the ball, which I absolutely love. And then we've kind of got the rest of them. You've got the likes of Keane that is semi-usable, but I mean, he's not going to be too crazy. He's got the pinged pass first touch. It's a nice upgrade for him, but nothing too crazy. Foudy with a lovely upgrade, incisive and also the intercept. And then Baggio with a technical long ball. Obviously not having my personal preference for the incisive, but it still works for him. Obviously he's a high rated. We've got Foudy, and then Keane would kind of go near Cahill. Which then leaves us with the players. We've obviously got the big ballers out here. We've got a bit of Dybala at 3.3. McAllister with a finally big upgrade for him as well. If we kind of look across the board, you've got McAllister at 2.6, Vardy at 2.2, Elise and also Rejo at 1.5, and then obviously Dybala's coming in at the best, with Bruno coming in at just 1 million coins. Now, obviously, when you do look at individual players, you're kind of looking at their playstyle pluses. Bruno, without the incisive, with it, would have been probably into the 1.5s at the minimum. And I think that's kind of what McAllister's done. Pinged pass, incisive. It's a beautiful card. He already had a very nice base stats across the board. You could get some lovely evos from him. So it's no surprise that he's got a card of this sort of level. And to be honest, it puts himself in a very, very comfortable position to be one of the better centre mids in the game at this moment in time. You throw an anchor or something on him like that, 91, 92, 92, everything above 90 is incredible. Then having 2 very good playstyle pluses, you could have gone maybe and had like the intercept or block instead of the pinged pass, but regardless, as a centre mid, that is an absolutely outstanding one. He's got everything you need. Agility, balance, composure, short and long game, bit of vision, bit of shooting as well. That for me is going to be a card that is well worth the investment of having a look at. And if that is kind of the benchmark of centre mids at this point, it's going to be very interesting during Team of the Season, because even though we've kind of gone for a promo that is based around kind of newcomers. Like, some of these players don't normally get these big upgrades until Team of the Season. Like Dybala gets a couple of nice ones. Even Bruno, to be fair, last year, or I think the year before, it was predominantly informs that got him up to that level. It wasn't necessarily him getting these one-off random promos. Elise being the same, but McAllister and Watkins both getting massive upgrades. Team of the Season is going to be absolutely nuts. Regardless of the ratings we get now, they're going to have to be in them 96s, 97s at this point, because we got a few promos until we even get into there. We have Chawinga as well. Beautiful card with the quick step technical. Vardy obviously coming in with a quick step power shot. As much as power shot is still very relevant, it's definitely not as meta as kind of previous thoughts. I'm much more of a fan of the finesse shot personally, which obviously rapid and power shot is for a little bit of Watkins there. Arejo is obviously going to put himself in as top as category as possible. I think his previous 89 is still coming in at 400k. Obviously with a double play style plus thanks to the Champions League anyway, but we've got kind of similar, but we've managed to get rid of the jockey and added the anticipate, which is massive for him. So we are kind of going through the list. Personally for me, I think Bruno very usable. I think Arejo's definitely going to be in that top meta. We then go, Watkins is usable. I think he's kind of just the, I wouldn't even say the B-Tech of Vardy, but in terms of the play styles, quick step is always going to be more relevant in my opinion. We've obviously got a lot of lower ones that we'll go through as well. Elise I absolutely love on the right-hand side. The problem is we've had a lot of top. So very usable doesn't mean that they're not crazy. They are in that top percent, but they're not in the top 5, top 10 in their position, in my opinion. Then obviously we've got Dybala. I personally, without the 5-5, I like the technical to some extent with a cam, but it's still not going to be my number one. I would go into the very usable just purely on the fact of how many cams we truly have now. It's a very competitive space. The wingers, the strikers, the centre-backs even, and then the cam roll is becoming very much overcrowded, so you've got to be very realistic with it. You can't just put everybody in that top meta. It's just not going to work that way. They are for the better players going. We do have Vicario as an 88. It's a standard one, to be honest. He's 6'4", so he hits that kind of category of a decent keeper height. So for him, I'd go usable. I'm not a fan of the Playstyle Plus personally, but some people might be. He's going to be semi-usable. At least for your Spurs team, he's not going to be terrible. Then obviously you've got a lot of bog standard. We've got a bit of Mahrez just chilling at the back. It's a shame that he hasn't really got anything to give on this point. We have a Jonathan David. He's going to come in with a quick step Travella. I'd say he'd be one of the strikers that actually could do quite well, but in comparison to a lot of them, he's just going to be standard, really. I would say Di Lorenzo's going to put himself into the very usable as a right back, especially if he does manage to get an Evo in that role as well. We got Cal. Love him as well as a CDM centre mid. Anticipate, incisive. Really, really make this card. Now, he's going to be a cheap beast out of the bunch, to be honest. Same with Grob as well, coming in at 200. Very nice stats across the board. Obviously, they've given him that 99 passing. It's a shame he didn't get the incisive like Cal, but we could still work with that. I think he's going to be one of them CDMs you could put in to a very, very good shift. Then we obviously have Chawinga. As much as I think she's incredible in the short burst, she's a great super sub in my opinion, but nothing really more. Same as kind of Williams. You've obviously got her with the 99 pace on the left-hand side. It's more of a gimmick side more so than anything. So I'd kind of go with them personally as more usable rather than necessarily very. I'd go Jonathan David there as well. And then with the rest of them, to be honest, they're going to be either waiting for an Evo, waiting for something. Because realistically, when you've got one playstyle plus at this point, there's not really too much to go with it. Like even with Pinnock, he's obviously got a bit of pace for him, defending, physical at 99, incredible. But we need that double. We need that double playstyle plus to really put him in there. So I would say he'd be more on the Evo side of things for me. We have got a lot that are just going to be very standard and probably more of a miss. I'd probably say Garcia and Williams not going to be in there. Daily, she's probably more unusable. The finesse I like. Maybe a cheeky Evo could help her out a little bit. She's got good shooting. I'd possibly go into more Evo, if anything. If you could get a quick step or a rapid on her, might save her a little bit, but it's not going to be that crazy. We then have a few more. Obviously, we've got the left wing. What's his name? I can't even pronounce that. What's his first name? That's going to be the big question. Matea? Okay, we can go with that. 91, 92, quick step. Evo maybe. For a Serie A team, it might not be a terrible option, to be honest. It could work for him, but likely chances you're more than likely going to have other left wings you'll do at that point anyway. Mahrez would be the same. I mean, Mahrez has got incredible dribbling, as we know. He's going to come in with that 92, 90, 88, 89 value on the stats. Technical trickster, it's just not... I mean, you could use him. You could definitely get away with him, but he's not going to be my cup of tea personally. We then have the rest of them, to be fair. I'd probably just bin them off. I don't think they're going to be worth that much, in my opinion. Maybe the left mid for Germany could get in there, but everybody else is going to be bog standard. Which leaves us with Conte and also Stoichkov. Now, Conte is coming in at 6'3", and Stoichkov is coming in at 9'5", coming in with some great prices. Power shot technical. As a striker, can play right wing, left wing. Obviously has got the 5-star, 4-star. It's a nice card. I think it's probably the most underwhelming Stoichkov in the sense of when we've got him. Like last year, we obviously got the winter wild card prior to all of the big ones, but stats were still very good. 4-star, 3-star as well. But then we got the big up on him in the 5'5", technical first touch, but the 94, the stats were so much more stacked. It felt like a better card. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be totally useless. I think he's very, very usable. I just think you could have had more of an impact with him. Whereas then we have got the likes of Conte at the 90. It's a great upgrade for him again. 5 on the pace, which was what was needed. 3 dribbling, 2 passing, 2 physical. In terms of the dribbling stats, we get 4 on the composure, which is fantastic. Good amount of agility balance, which he already had from the Globetrotter. The pace is the main thing for him. You look at that, add the anchor or the shadow, 90, 95, 91. As a DM with the anticipate press proven, it's a beautiful, beautiful card. I'd say I'd put him up there in closer to the better of them, but I'd go very usable for him as well. But that's going to be all the list for today. Let me know down below, have you managed to get any? I think the best I've managed to get is Williams at the moment, so we will see if we can get any of them big boys in the coming week, and hopefully there is a little mini release coming as well.